Hello, everyone. Yes, be kind. Thank you. So what I wanted to tell you today is what we do in customer insight at Liberty Global. Basically, we use customer data to help decision-making of the group. And we're going to dig into a case study for you today on understanding the commercial impact of OTT partnership. And the case study we chose was Netflix with Virgin Media UK. But just to keep it top level at first, we wanted to comment on why we set to do this, how we joined the different data dots, and then give you a few insights on what we finally found. So why we decided to do this is basically our team at Liberty Global in Customer Insight tries to influence decision-making based on data and push this data-driven culture inside of the group. So Customer Insight actually works with the different opcos of Liberty Global, included Virgin Media UK, but also Telenet Belgium and others, as well as central teams such as central product, central content, or central strategy, and help them on their everyday business cases. And one of the main areas, and what we're really proud of, is actually using audience measurement data, which is a platform that captures second-by-second viewership to inform the business on return on investment, value of OTT partnerships, and more generally, the impact of viewership on the whole of the business. This audience measurement platform enables us to understand better our customers, second by second, and their video behaviors. So through this, LG really had made a commitment and quite large investment in data and in driving the content business through this platform. Just to describe it in brief, it got launched in January 2016. It captures over 6 million devices across 10 countries. And it has 2.5 million active Horizon Go users each month, as well as Yellow Play users in Belgium, Ziggo Sport in the Netherlands, and really focuses on viewership, linear viewership, as well as all the set-top box apps, navigation data, so how they're using our set-top box and the different paths they're using it. And this means literally processing 100 million events daily and 10 million of hours of viewing daily from our customers through their set-top box. And this wealth of data enables us to identify and make a difference between the noise or just generally the UK population and our own customers. And this is where we started to have the idea, how does Netflix partnership impact our customers and not just the general UK public? So you have, the Independent saying that Britons are skipping sleep to binge watch TV shows, that Telegraph telling you that traditional TV viewing is over, basically killed by OTT players, The Guardian claiming that Netflix has become an addiction, or that everybody is binge watching, and we wanted to test all these hypotheses on our customers and what it means for us. So what we'll be talking about today is using this customer data to understand these 5 main issues. So how is Netflix take-up on our customer base? Does it make our customers happier? Does it have any commercial impact that we can estimate? How are people watching Netflix through our set-top box? And do we have any pre-adoption, post-adoption major changes in the use of other viewing formats or even content providers? And just to add another issue to the list, we also concentrated on the launch of a V6 box through Virgin Media in Q4 2016, beginning of 2017, and how that really helped the take-up of Netflix on our customer base. To remind you a little bit about the partnership between Virgin Media and Netflix, so it all started in 2013. Virgin Media was the first mover to bundle Netflix with its TV bundle and enable customers to access Netflix through their set-top box and then, on a bigger screen in your house. Back in 2013, so a few years ago, the UK average household, based on Bob data, told us that there was about 2.8 million households in the UK that had Netflix. And nowadays, so again, Bob data, it tells us it's just over 10 million. So you do have this enormous rise and this huge differentiator factor back in 2013 for Virgin Media to trust this partnership and really push it through to make their customers happy. So to answer these different questions that I listed previously, we had to join a lot of data dots. So we started with viewership through this audience measurement platform that can really get very detailed, so I said second by second, and gives you the duration you stayed in the app, the time you entered the app, the time you ended the app, through each pathway you entered the app. But also, in general, are you viewing other types of content? Are you more of a linear viewing type? Do you watch other apps in general? Which content provider is your favorite? When do you watch them, etc., etc.? To understand who are these Netflix active customers in our customer base. Then we link them to NPS, which is a proxy for customer satisfaction. We went into commercial impact, so we linked it to ARPU, so the spend on our different products, as well as churn, the propensity to churn and actual churn, to understand, how much this partnership is helping, and controlling for demographics in general, and most importantly, linking it back to products. So which product are you using? Are you, using the V6 box? And are people with the V6 box using more Netflix than other people? Do we see any impact of this V6 box launch on Netflix commercial impact? And this is, the methodology we went through. So what did we learn? As we publicized in 2016, customers who adopted Netflix have a higher NPS, so they're happier post-adoption, and they're churning less, so less likely to leave Virgin Media in general. So this was all good news. Then we went a little bit more into detail. We realized that our customer base is actually more, Netflix is more popular among our customer base than the average UK household. So whereas, the average UK household saw a growth in adoption year on year of 32%, on our customer base, we saw it rose to 43%. And among people that had the V6 and thus a more seamless video experience, that number was even higher. To give you an update for Q1 19, the growth is continuing at a slightly lesser rate of 17%, but it's still faster than the TiVo uptake in general. And we think there's a mixture of factors between to explain all of this. So again, the VC box gives you, a better OTT experience. It's faster, and growth in adoption rate when you do it monthly really kind of mirrors this V6 launch through our customer base. But undoubtedly, there's also Netflix that had, is a driver of his own success by the content investment it puts through its OTT solution, and also its recent targeting of older groups. So we realized that so between 17 and 18, and it's continuing in the recent year, so the first people that really adopted Netflix were young demographics. But there's really been a catch-up of an interesting segment for Virgin Media, which is a 55, 74-year-old people. And, it's kind of in line with a continuous release of content that's catering for this segment by Netflix. When you think of, the silver entertainment that they put money into through The Crown, that has over 50% of its audience that's above 50 years old, but also shows like Grace and Frankie, or more recently, The Kominsky Method. So they're really, catering to this older segment group, and we can see it in our data that it's working. So all good news as well. Looking into the general uptake of Netflix, it's really been translating itself into the ranking of Netflix among our content provider. So back in 2017, Netflix was number 6 in terms of minute per day per customer. And then it's really rising year on year, so ending up number 5 in 2018, and even higher to date. This has been followed by, the launch of the V6 box again. We see a significant growth in popularity around that time, with Netflix average daily share of viewing in Virgin Media homes that jumped by 1% in 6 months only. And also, just the importance for us of delivering a good OTT performance to our customers, because they are happier, they're watching it, and it's really something we want to keep in mind. Another question about, Netflix killing traditional TV viewing is Netflix, a new way of watching TV, or is it an additive way of watching TV? And we found out that it's actually complementary and additive. So you have here the type of viewing, so live, VOD, etc., split by duration across different types of customers. Non-Netflix users, Netflix inactive users, so they used to use Netflix and then they stopped. And then you have Netflix active users. And when you realize that Netflix active users consume just as much live TV, and that Netflix viewing is really on top of everything else. So they're like super video consumers, and we don't have this swapping out effect of one content for another. We actually see, by comparing a pre-Netflix adoption to post-Netflix adoption viewing behavior among different cohorts of viewing, that whereas early adopters of Netflix back in 2016 had a slight decrease in linear viewing and in time shift viewing, on more recent cohorts of viewing, that change of behavior is not happening. So it's really a great message from our customers back to us that, Netflix is extra viewing, and they're still, within the set-top box environment when they do it. But it's not killing or threatening traditional TV viewing. Then we went into trying to test the claim, is everyone binging Netflix? So we split our population of Netflix active viewers by frequency of use, as well as duration of use. with grouping heavy users as people with high frequency and high duration, whereas bingers would be someone that has low frequency and high duration. And we wanted to see how this segments behaved through time and what we could learn from it. And what we realized is one of Netflix, in our view, best success on our customer base is a very high increase in frequency year on year. So the segments that are growing are heavy and regular segments. And this includes even people, that joined in between the 2 years. So they seem to be joining and really pushing regularity up the scale. And it's something that's a message that's not really prevalent in the press, that only talks about bingers. But bingers are a relatively small segment of our customer base, and it's relatively shrinking year on year. So it was all, interesting for us to test it on our customers based on this audience measurement data and then linking it to the commercial impact in general. Thank you so much for your attention.